What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors and entrepreneurs and the cryptocurrency world, where we feel like crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, and it's not even close. So welcome along on the journey. We appreciate all of you. It's going to be a fun ride. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Good morning, Hurricanes, or afternoon or evening, wherever you're at in the world. In Puerto Rico, this is the afternoon now. It's actually 1 p.m. And it's funny because when I first started doing this show in Arizona, I was starting at 9 a.m. So it's like a whole nother shift for me. But it's awesome to be hanging out with you guys where we're on this journey to use cryptocurrency as that wealth creation tool and then use real estate as that wealth preservation tool and just kind of talk about macroeconomics, learn about the crypto markets, and just learn how we can create legacy wealth for our family and change the trajectory of all of our lives. And so, yeah, absolutely fun topping on today. What is the topic today? Are we playing aggressive enough in crypto right now? It's funny you mentioned that, Dane, because Dane makes usually the topics on here, but it's funny that you mentioned that because that's how always Sami addresses it. He's like, if a 10x doesn't make you excited, he goes, you're not long enough, right? Meaning you don't have enough of your position in, enough of your liquidity in to make you, excited, because he's saying that, the cryptocurrency markets in general have diminished gains over cycle, including the altcoins, where it was uncommon for an altcoin to do 1,000x. That was a very common thing in the first cycle, second cycle. Maybe second cycle was like a 500x. Maybe now, it's a 50 to 100x. I don't know. We just know yet. But it's funny. Yeah, that's how he expresses it. And that makes me like a 10x. Like, I would be happy. It wouldn't be like it
Never
wouldn't change
getting money.
Yeah. I would still need to kind of figure out ways to keep going further with that money I just made and reinvesting it and growing it, which is perfectly fine because there's nothing in the real world that's going to give me a 10x on my money. But I think that's extremely conservative. Like, that's like he uses that as a gauge of to measure you. Like, hey, how long are you? Does a 10x make you excited? If that does, and you're long enough. But if not, because a 10x, in crypto, everything kind of does a 10x, even the scams.
Right.
So,
well, and I was thinking about it this morning, so I jumped on a call with one of our one-on-one members in our community, and we were talking, and I was helping him from yesterday, just a follow up to help him start transacting. And this guy does very well for himself. He's a real estate investor. And so we were talking strategy, and he told me the amount of money that he was planning on bringing in each month to buy crypto. And he said, do you think I'm playing too conservative? And I said, I don't know if you're talking to the right guy. I sold off all my rentals and pretty well everything that I could sell in order to take advantage of as big a position as I could in this next crypto run. And I said, that's not right for everybody. But what I do not want, I am unwilling to have, and Corey and I are good at making money. We can always make more money. I am unwilling to look back at this time in 2023 and say, gosh, I wish I would have played more aggressive. I'm unwilling for that. I've pushed all my chips in. We're all in at this point. And I feel really good about that because I'm somebody that's way less worried about losing money and a lot more interested in losing opportunity. And there's nothing like, so I'll put this into perspective. Some people, it bothers them to death to lose money. For me, like, that's just the nature of what we do. Money's going to get lost along the way as we learn. The thing that I hate the most is missing opportunity because I didn't play big enough. I hate that. Yeah. It eats at me so bad every single day. Some of the opportunities that I missed, literally millions of dollars that I've left on the table because I didn't use previous opportunities well enough. And this isn't like, oh, I missed Bitcoin. Oh, I missed Ethereum. Look, if you freaking bought Bitcoin and Ethereum early, you were either dealing drugs or you were crazy. Like, period. If you were early to those, I think that's remarkable. I wouldn't have bought those early, and that's fine. Like, I know myself, I would have missed that. Even if somebody would have told me, I wouldn't have bought it. But I've missed business opportunities that were millions of freaking dollars sitting right in front of me because I played too freaking small. And once again, I'm not willing to do that. And so I told him, I said, you've got to make a decision. And he had a really unique experience where way back in the beginning of things, one of his tenants for one of his properties, one of his commercial properties, wanted to pay him in Bitcoin. And this was magic internet money. So he said no, right? Like, that was the smart thing to do at the time. So he said no.
I guess.
Today, he's like, Dane, that would have been $17 million today that I left on the table. And so I said, look, so you've got to make a determination for yourself. You've seen the opportunity cost up to this point because you've missed that opportunity. How do you want to play your hand now based upon what we may see over the next few years? And he's like, oh, geez, I'm going to have to really rethink this. I'm like, yeah, probably. You probably should.
I can't tell you, but you probably should think about this for yourself and make your own decision. Like, rethink this. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so rich. Is a 10X a Rolex Daytona money? How much is a Rolex Daytona, Dane?
Oh man, I think are they less than 100? I want to say less than 100. Oh, let's see. I'm not a big watch.
I'm not either. I mean, I wear a Movado. This is a gift. I didn't even pay for it. It was a gift. I sport it and keep it on. But I'm not a big.
Looks like 125K. So my really quick Google search looks like maybe 125 to 140 for Rolex Daytona right now. That's probably if you don't get a deal. I don't know the watch market. Yeah.
Urban Projections or Urban Man Projections. Some of my DCAs were a Daytona Rolex. Just kind of give you an idea. So I hope I have a mini Daytona Rolexes on a 10X.
Yes.
So that's just
That's a good question. Joe says, not a huge fan of real estate right now. Have we seen twists in the markets, crypto up, real estate down? I'm a buyer. I see real estate dropping 20%. Do you see a 20% dip, Corey?
In A markets. Only in A markets. Meaning,
I think that's a good thing.
California, Arizona, Washington, in real A+ markets that see the real high appreciations when the market gets hot. I think we could see maybe we've already gone down, like I can fix, we're down 15%, I think it is. Or
we've already seen 15 to 20% down, in a lot of places already.
So another we do another
in real estate terms is a lot, like 40%.
That's a lot. Yeah, this is not like
it's like 2008 a lot.
Right. This is not a crypto, right? We're talking about this is a whole other asset class. It's like you don't see that kind of volatility in real estate. So yeah, maybe California, maybe places like Hawaii, maybe Phoenix. Phoenix, we really do like to appreciate really aggressively when the timing is right. So it's possible. Will it happen? I don't know. I know. I think I'm going to win my bet though with. I have a bet with Dixon Piper because I remember we bet a night out for all of us. I'd be paying if I lose, or he'd paying if he loses. And I think the market had to drop 30% in Phoenix, and that was the median time when I first got to Puerto Rico. And so that was like 6 months ago now. I think I made that bet with him. I think I win because I know we're over halfway there. We're well over halfway there. So I have to go look. I have the screenshot. I need to go look and do a comparison with that bet. Because that could be an expensive night out with these guys. That could be a really expensive night out. So let's see where we stand with that bet.
Right. Well, and an extra 20% down from here is a lot, real estate terms. But
it really is.
Yeah, and you have to make a decision, right? Do you think that we're going to have the bubble of all bubbles, like some of these guys are projecting, like worse than the Great Depression type of correction? Then yes, we will see those types of dips.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't think we're not going to do it.
I don't think
the The Fed, man, you guys know what their main tool is to save the economy every single time, and they know how to do it really well now. We're more like back in the Great Depression and those times, like that wasn't like really a thing. They did have a way of printing money, but money was also tied to gold and all this. Now it's different times. We live in different times. The Fed knows how to inflate the Ponzi system when they need to. This is like, yeah, can we see a recession? Sure. But it's not going to be like how you said, and everything bubble pop and everything goes to zero. It's just, not it's like a war happening, like a war on the United States or like a COVID 2.0. I don't know. There's got to be something that really rattles the cage to really get us to drop in prices like that. So we'll see. I mean, I could also be wrong.
Agreed. Yep, I've agreed.
I have a question for you, Dane. Let's start a little controversy on here today. I love this.
Let's do it.
Let's make some Hexicans mad. I'm a Hexican guy, so it's okay. The next 1 million people who come into Pulse Chain, what are they more likely to buy? Hex or Pulse? The next 1 million people, retail, right? People coming in to Pulse Chain, what are they more likely to buy? Hex or Pulse?
I mean, I think they're more likely to buy Pulse because you got to use it to pay for gas.
It's the gas token, right? It's the chain.
Right.
It's easy to understand, isn't it? Isn't it really easy to understand? Oh, it's just an Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum. Okay, I get it. So I buy this thing, number goes up, and I pay gas with it, right? That's it. Yeah. And you also could stake it and make like 8% APY, whatever, with some of these, once we get those rocket pool forks and stuff like that Ethereum has. So you'll even be able to make some passive income on your Pulse in the future without running node validators. And so I don't know. I see a lot of this going around on Twitter. Sami's doing a good job of stirring this up with all the Hexicans right now, because I swear all the Hex guys, every single one of them are saying Hex is going to outperform Pulse by miles. And I just do not see it. I do not, minus with one caveat, minus RH going in there and pulling a lever. I need you to invert that chart, Dave. You're looking at it wrong.
No, I'm looking at Hex and Pulse terms. So this
invert it. You want to invert it though. Because right. You try to just zoom out, and this really shows you.
So this is Pulse falling in relationship to Hex.
Yeah.
Right. And you look at the other way, it's Hex gaining in relationship to Pulse.
Right.
And I think it's interesting. Yeah. Like, do you think? I mean, so you would claim, Corey, that you think that this chart is going to change. We're going to start to see Pulse start making gains in respect to Hex. Is that what you're claiming?
I do believe that. I believe Pulse is going to start running really hard against Hex when we start entering the risk on period. Just how when we're risk off, BTC runs hard against Ethereum, and when we're risk on, Ethereum runs hard against BTC. And I think we're going to see the same nature happen when retail coming in, and retail is buying the new shiny thing over in our ecosystem. They're going to buy Pulse first. Now, I think that's amazing. I always said that Pulse Chain is the Trojan horse for Hex. That's going to bring us some adoption. With some of the gatekeeping, I believe, will come down because now Hex is riding inside of Pulse Chain. And that's why I believe Hex will do well in the next run. So it doesn't really matter what you hold, ideally, but I think, and I believe Pulse is going to be the winner. I really do. The sections of small little bursts. I mean, where like right now Hex is running against Pulse, and then we might even see Pulse X run against Pulse. That's definitely going to probably happen when Richard Hart launches single-sided staking, or we get like limit orders or whatever else, or maybe it's a DAO token. I don't know, but yeah, man, I believe that this is going to be. I think all the Hexicans on Twitter have it wrong, because right now this is the next contrarian play.
So like, okay, so let's look at I'll play the Hex Maxi for this debate.
Okay, right.
So so the one like the other way that I would look at this is I'd say like, but who's onboarding? Like who's bringing people to Pulse? Uh it's Hex guys. It's people that like Richard Hart, right? And what do those guys want their onboards to buy? Well, they want to buy Hex. They want to buy Hex because they've got
Sure.
big bags. They want that price to go up. They want it all to go up, right? But to say that a lot of these guys aren't going to get a Hex position, is that unreasonable?
I mean, I'll also give you a few other scenarios.
Yeah, give
Hex,
it.
I don't believe will ever be listed on centralized changes. I just don't think it may. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope it does one day, and that'd be great. Even though I know most people say they don't care about that. Whatever. I mean, you want to be gate kept. You really don't. But Hex has the least likelihood of being listed on a centralized exchange. Where Pulse, on the other hand, can be listed on multiple I could see it being listed on multiple centralized exchanges because it's just a layer one gas token like Ethereum, and I can see that really just it can be understood. People understand layer ones. People have a hard time trying to figure out what a freaking T-share is. Like, I want T-shares, guys. I love them. I got them, but not everyone wants to go deep and figure out why Hex is so badass, where it's easy to look at Pulse and see why that's badass. And when you have your million new users coming in, that a lot of these guys are going to start coming in from other influencers talking about it, other people besides the hardcore Hex Maxi guys, right? Someone like B Roots. B Roots I mean, he's got Hex, but if you ask B Roots, man, he's going to tell you he's going to pick Pulse all day long, and he's going to onboard you in Pulse before he'll even have you touch Hex. People like that, right? The people who are building on Pulse. When you have someone who's building on Pulse, they might tell you to buy a Pulse because that's the gas token versus their protocols, right? Obviously, they're going to tell you about their protocols too. I see the when we're getting the mass adoption is because of Pulse, and Pulse is the Trojan horse. Not the next million people are not going to be Hex Maxis. They're not.
But do the next million people come in because of Hex Maxis?
No.
You don't think so? It's an interesting thing to consider. This is this is PulseX in relationship to Hex. You can see PulseX has gotten destroyed in Hex.
Well, PulseX got destroyed in relationship to everything.
Everything, yeah. But to your point, like, yeah, I would argue, when it comes to Richard Hart's tokens, PulseX and Pulse are the contrarian plays. I mean, you could even go so far as to say Ink is a contrarian play. I don't feel super comfortable making a sizable bet there now just because it inflates so heavily. But yeah,
I put a small bet on it though. I did. I bought a little position. I was like a week ago. Nothing huge at all, but I just wanted to kind of top up my Ink bag, if you will. And so I bought a little position.
Is the bottom rounding out?
Yeah, bring it up. Are you going to compare Ink against Pulse or Ink versus the dollar?
Let's look at it both. So yeah, compared to the dollar.
On the dollar, it looks very bottomed on the dollar. I think on Pulse, though, it still looks like it might be going down to the right. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
It looks pretty freaking stable. Yeah, it's been hanging out about $1.
That's in Pulse terms?
Yeah, this is Ink versus. Well, I apologize.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Yeah.
That looks like
more downside.
That looks like it could. Oh yeah, that looks like it could go down for much further before it has some kind of. And that's because Pulse can pump, right? And Ink doesn't have to dump in dollar terms. Pulse can keep rising in dollar terms, and that you would still get that chart. You're not losing money in dollar. You're losing your opportunity cost from not being in Pulse is what you're losing. You're not losing dollars. So you do have to look at those when you're making your bets and you're deciding where you're wanting to place money. That's why I did a small bet on Ink. I'm like, like I don't want like Pulse to do a 30x on my money and Ink do a 3x. Like that would like be shit. I'd be so mad, you know.
Oh, you'd be so mad.
You would be so mad. You're like, well, I didn't lose money in Ink. Yeah, but your opportunity cost with a 27x delta. Like you gotta watch where you're putting your money. And yeah, even though it might have bottomed dollar terms, doesn't mean it's a bottom in Pulse terms.
Yeah. It seems like most people in the comments are with you on the Pulse play. Yeah, Armando.
I think because we attract our tribe. We attract a different kind of person into our show than I see on Twitter and on other shows. I love Hex, guys, too. Don't get me wrong. I got myself a nice bag of Hex. Like I'm messing around. I want to make sure I'm holding all of them, but I would say that my Pulse bag is probably the larger of all the bags.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, my brother made it in today.
He did.
Hey, what up, Jeremy? Made it in today.
It's an interesting question. Yeah. XRP. Hex struggled to break previous all-time highs due to the SEC FUD. I mean, I think the landscape is different now. The SEC is coming; they're trying to come for everybody right now. So I'd say it kind of has even the playing field in that respect. In fact, one of the calls that I had this morning with one of our one-on-one guys are a couple, and the wife, her job has largely been in risk mitigation for financial instruments, and so they're an interesting combination to talk crypto with. And so he said, "What about the SEC case?" And I'm like, "Well, frickin' everybody's being charged by the SEC right now, so I think it's a level playing field in that respect." But gosh, like one of the big benefits of Pulse Chain being so decentralized is, God forbid, if Richard dies or goes to jail for the rest of his life, he's left the blockchain to us. Like we are the blockchain. And it'll, and largely what the gains that we all hope to have, it'll occur because of us. And so, are you doing the onboarding? Are you opening your mouth? Are you telling the people that you love in your life about what's going on and the opportunity to be buying at these levels? Are you waiting? In fact, I think you and I were talking about this yesterday, Corey. It's funny, like investing. Real estate is a good example where people want proof. We all want some sort of proof to feel like we're not the first sucker to be able to go and place money and lose money.
I've been the first sucker though, man.
Right. You and I, we're all right being at the forefront. We like to be first because that's where the biggest opportunities are. But waiting in something like real estate can make a lot of sense. When you're raising money to go do real estate deals, it's not uncommon for somebody to give a little bit of money and say, "Hey, show me that you can actually perform before I'll give you more money." And it's interesting where cryptocurrency, if you treat it that way, you put yourself at immense risk. You actually are not increasing your likelihood of winning. You're actually increasing a fair amount of likelihood that you're going to lose, because by the time the runs happen and the proof is there, it might be freaking time to sell.
Right. It's almost the opposite.
Yeah, it's fascinating how opposite that is in that respect. And so, at the end of the day, you gotta do your due diligence, whatever that might mean. I think it's funny. Everybody says do your due diligence, but I don't think most people know what that actually looks like for them. So you got to figure out however you got to do due diligence to make you feel comfy, and then you make a bet in faith. And you ride that freaking sucker to either to Valhalla or to hell, one way or another. And you see what happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, me and you, we placed our bets, and if it were to go to zero, you had mentioned earlier in the show, we are both good at making money in the real world, and we go find our next risky opportunity to get involved in, and we're going to keep rinsing and repeating until we hit one out of the park. But I really do believe that this is the opportunity here. There's like no doubt in my mind and in every fiber of my being, we are in the right place at the right time to experience some exponential gains, some life-changing wealth via cryptocurrency. At the very least thing we can look back in crypto and we can look at other coins and see what they did. Even we could, with Richard Hart, we could like, okay, well, Hex did a 10,000X, right? And so we can at least point to that and have some kind of like, some, what do you call, like when you're doing your due diligence on your founders, or you don't want to be the first one in. Well, Hex was the first one testing ground for the crypto space, and Richard Hart and the guys who got into the adoption amplifier in the early days, the OG Hexicans. And then now here we are, now it's been rough starting out, and that's perfectly fine, because that roughness or that shakiness was how you were earning your stripes. Your 100X ain't free. It's just not. Your 100X isn't free. It's how it goes. It's and that's what everyone thought they got.
Toll to pay.
It's an emotional toll you got to pay, and everyone thought they got that 100X for free by sacrificing, for Pulse or PulseX back in the day, and then they paid with a 2-year wait. It was very painful for most, even to the point where some of them went to the SEC and cried like a little baby. That's how painful it was for some of these guys. And so, you pay one way or the other in life, whether it's with hard work or delayed gratification, or pain from the market going up and down and wrenching you around and forcing you to have diamond hands. Because even the other option you could sell. that's your other option, and some people did, and they can't handle it. They just can't handle it, and how you earn this 100X or 1,000X, whatever we might end up getting. I think we could get 1,000X. I just don't know if it's going to happen this market cycle. I hope it does, but who knows? But you could definitely maybe get 100X, and that's how you earn it. That's how you earn it, man. Is we've been here, and we had to go through the SEC BS, man. That was earning our stripes. That was earning our 100X, if you ask me.
Agreed. Money Gang makes an excellent few points here. Yeah, he says Ripple was selling the heck out of XRP during and after the SEC case. During the SEC case, Ripple sold, that's interesting, almost $730 million worth of XRP directly to institutional buyers, hedge funds, and other parties. Good data. Thanks for bringing that. That's really fast.
And XRP still did a 10X even after they were targeted by SEC. So think about it, they did a 10X with a multi-billion-dollar valuation. Their market cap was like 40 billion. I can't remember what it was. It was very high. And had all the sell pressure too. This is amazing. Like, that to me is so bullish. It tells me the marketplace, once they figured out that the SEC is BS, the marketplace just goes on like normal. It's in the beginning, of course, you take that beating, and that's to be expected, it shake out anybody who had weak hands.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it'll be a fun ride over the next couple of years. Oh, these guys are saying, have you been paying attention? I haven't looked at the Telegram for Tetra this morning. Was there a new update?
I didn't look this morning either. Update for Tetra are very, very bullish. I'm glad I have been accumulating.
Well, let's look.
Yeah, take a look. See if you can find something. I would love to. I'm an investor of Tetra. Full disclosure, guys. Like product Tetra. I think when Stewman pulls this off, it will be very innovative in the way Zapier was innovative to Web 2, the Web 2 world. I even use Zapier in my real estate business to connect I'll give you an example. I had my PPC account, which stands for pay-per-click advertising. And so like when a homeowner would go on there and go, I want to sell my house, my ad would come up on Google and it'd be the first page. And then when somebody would fill their information on my website, Zapier would zap over all their information to my CRM. My CRM is what I just collect all the data, collect all my leads, for my team could go in there and call the homeowners and see if they wanted to sell their house and close. So that Zapier was that connection. The website I had and the CRM and the PPC, those three things had nothing. They were not the same company. They had nothing really in common whatsoever, except for the Zapier. And that's the way I envision Tetra doing with Web3 and all the protocols, except for now, this is more like a 3D. So I think of like Web 2 as a 2D type world where DeFi Web3 is a 3D world worth money, right? And so like that's the way I picture it. And Tetra kind of brings all that together in the most creative ways that you can think of. So it's extremely bullish in that regard, and it's also going to make our lives a lot easier in DeFi. I like the idea of auto compounder and something that manages your liquidity pool, and something that can act as a what do they call that? A dead man switch. If God forbid something were to happen to me, I mean, there's just so many different use cases for a protocol like that. It's wild. And I don't think any other layer one, and I could be wrong about this, 'cause I'm not in every layer one and like, researching every community, but I would be willing to bet we are the first to come out with a protocol like that, which could really be the darling of Pulse Chain if it plays out right. And then other communities would be forking us. The way we forked like GMX, the way we forked Aave, the way we forked OpenSea, the way we were forking all these very successful protocols on Ethereum and other chains, and Tetra being one of its own kind. It wouldn't surprise me in the future if all the other communities started forking us. And that kind of like that's the best kind of like accolades, I guess, you could get. It's like as a creator, it would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the Telegram. I don't see any pinned tweet updates. If you guys, if I missed something, if there's more updates, post in the comments. Yeah, we'd love to know about that. But we're pumped about Tetra. I mean, I'm almost not quite. In fact, Corey, has yours doubled in dollar terms? I think you got a little bit better position than me. I think
I got a really good deal. I bought it over on Ethereum on pre-fork. So I got I'm over double. Depending what's the number right now? 3,006 or something. 3,005.
Something like that. Mine's almost, not quite, but I'm getting close to my first double there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, the comments this morning are great, you guys.
Yeah, it's had a lot of volatility too, man. I've seen it it's having days where it's pumping really hard and you see a lot of sell-offs. I mean, if you were a trader, you probably could trade that chart. I mean, it's extremely volatile to the up and downside. I don't know what the liquidity is. I remember when I was buying it, Dane, on Ethereum, the liquidity was so thin. Every time I would do a buy, I would have to do it in small buys. I would do a green candle would print on the freaking price chart. I'm like, I'm making green candles, and it's not. I'm not a whale, guys. Okay, I'm not a whale in Tetra. It's like I'm printing green candles, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy how thin the liquidity is. I'm wondering where the liquidity stands today. I haven't even looked.
It's so decent. I was able to buy in. What was I buying? I think I was buying in like $1,000 or $2,000 clips when I was buying. I've got my position that I wanted, so I'm just hanging out. But it was better. I remember looking on ETH, and it was better. Still relatively thin liquidity, but that'll grow as the platform grows. Yeah. Oh, this is a good question. I have a friend who bought $1 billion PulseX, literally nothing else. He's hoping to see 2 zeros and a 1. I tell him to split between Pulse and Hex, but others disagree. What do you guys think?
When they buy that $1 billion PulseX, I'd be curious if he bought it here at the bottom, or did he buy it was he a sacrificer? That does change some of the dynamics of this question. I'm a believer of holding all of them because I don't have a crystal ball and I have no way of looking into the future. So I like the idea of holding, the core assets at least. And that for me is PHEX, Pulse, and PulseX. Like people are like, oh, what about EHEX? Yes, I know. I have some EHEX. I have it staked. But for me, it's not really my core. I think it's fun contrarian play. I mean, obviously it worked. If you're going to play the contrarian play, but so I mean, I want to be the least in those diversified those three for me. Beyond that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with holding just the one. I mean, I think PulseX will have a short run against Pulse at some point in time, maybe then he can rotate into some pulse and then have a pulse bag. Same with Hex. Maybe if pulse runs against Hex, Dane showed the chart a little earlier. It's destroyed against Hex. If it runs against Hex, he could also take profits in Hex too. That way, he's building that bag as he's moving along. There's no right or wrong answer to this because we don't know when the ball will reach a 0.001, so that's a 10x above sacrifice price. Where is that from here?
It's 100x from the bottom, or just a touch more. Yeah.
Sure, could it happen? Yeah, sure, it could happen. Will it happen? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. It could happen.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if it hit those targets. I think Cake did almost a 200x last go around. Now, once again, law of diminishing returns. So, I don't think that it's necessarily given we get 100x from the bottom. And that's where kind of the topic of today, where we started earlier, like, are you being aggressive enough in how you're positioning yourself to try to get to the goals that we're all trying to get to? And I'll tell you guys, like $1 million. I know a lot of people's goals is become a millionaire this bull run. Once you get there, you'll realize that $1 million really isn't that much money. You could fly through $1 million in a day just from buying a freaking house, for instance. So, I would, not financial advice, you got to make your own decisions. But for Corey and I both, we have increased our goals and also increase the capital that we've put into the ecosystem to try to increase the likelihood that we get there.
Yeah. And also depending how old you are, how much money you make, if you're in your 60s, $1 million could last. I don't know. But I mean, I have a certain lifestyle too that I'm living a good lifestyle now. I want to maintain the lifestyle I live now and improve on it, right? Not just, put $1 million in the bank and live the way I'm living now for the next 10 years. And that's it. No, that's not how I want to live life. Like I want to live a very good life, and not just for me, for my family, right? I got 2 daughters. I have my wife. We want to make sure that they're well taken care of. And part of my end goal, I want my kids to have to not worry about money. Now, I'm going to make them work. I'm going to make them go to school. I'm going to make them learn entrepreneurship. I want them to go through the hoops to get to that money. They're not going to just be handed a silver platter. That's not how it works. But I do want to be on my deathbed when I'm leaving to go meet up with God again. I know that I'm leaving behind I created for these guys because that's what I'm here to do.
I think it was a Brad Lee video that I saw maybe a year ago, maybe even longer. But I think he came out and said there are a lot of people who pushed back on him for this video, but he said, you're not even living life until you're making, I think it was like 25 grand a month. And especially with inflation today, I mean, I would agree. I mean, the money can just go so freaking fast just to buy, like point in case, just to buy a median priced home in my area in Utah. It's almost 600K now, which is freaking wild. The starter home, 600K. I mean, at today's interest rates, you're going to be you're going to be closer to $4,000 a month. At today's interest rate, after you factor in taxes and insurance.
A lot.
I mean, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to be able to hey, if I want to go to China for a month and do that, not worry about money. Or, hey, you know what? I do want to buy the new 2024 E-Ray Corvette. Let's go ahead and buy that. I might not, but I want to be able to have the option to do it. That's the key right there. That's just the way I've chosen to live my life. And I've done that already, guys, with entrepreneurship and real estate. I'm using crypto to accelerate it at times 10, times 50, maybe times 100. Who knows? That's what I'm using crypto for, is to accelerate that. It's going to be explosive, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think it's interesting to consider how expensive it is to be an adult and to live a certain lifestyle. I remember that when we were growing up, we were poor, man. We were poor. My mom, my mom literally would save to take our family to the Dollar Theater to go watch a movie. Like we were really poor in the early days. And I remember like we had a couple of friends that, like we go out on their boat or out on the four-wheelers or whatever. And I remember thinking, man, and asking my dad, like, why don't we have this type of stuff? And now, like, going out to the boat ramp, for instance, like going out. So we went out this summer out to a place called Lake Powell here in Utah. Freaking love Lake Powell. In fact, you and I will need to go out on a houseboat sometime and go do a week out there. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll do a mastermind event out there. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. But gosh, like you're sitting on there on the boat ramp, and you add up the truck and you add up the boat and you add up the trailer, and I'm like, that's 500 grand sitting right there for a lot of these guys, like just in boat, trailer, and truck, which is or maybe that's a little much. Maybe it's more like 400. You spend 250 on a boat.
Depends on the boat.
Yeah,
depends on that boat.
Another 100 on a truck, another 50 on a trailer. That's 400 grand. Like it's pretty wild.
Yep.
Ed, we got a great show today. Over 60 people. We appreciate you guys being here. Brizology is not our end of show call today. Briz made it.
You didn't call the top.
Right. Which is great. We appreciate you guys being here.
I want to maintain in my mom's basement. I mean, that's a good way to stretch that lifestyle out for you. If you make $1 million and you don't want to spend it, just chill out in your mom's basement and maybe code some meme coins to it and scam some people.
Yeah. This is cool. I didn't know this. Internet Money Wallet is going to put all the DEXs in the wallet, including Pitius and other DEX aggregators. Then you'll be able to see the prices side by side all in one spot. Oh, that'd be great.
That is great.
In fact, that'd be one of the best price feed tools if they pull that off.
Yeah. They're still doing some really cool stuff in the Internet Money Wallet. I like KG too, man. He's a solid dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Old school poverty. In fact, I was a little jerk when I was a kid. I remember being in the grocery store and my mom wouldn't give me something I wanted. So I started yelling, "Don't hit me," to try to like embarrass her. I was a little jerk, man. That was bad. I've had some making up to do. It's been a blessing to be able to do some making amends.
Right. We're adults now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see. Doing any AMA about Spark Swap. He's willing to come on and chat about it. Yeah, I mean, I think Corey and I would both be open to chatting about it. We've got some of the guys in our group that are participating over there. So yeah, I mean, there's not many people we're unwilling to chat with. So by all means, Super Snake,
it's all not a scam.
Yeah, that's right. The thing. Yeah, Spark Swap. Yeah, in my opinion, Spark Swap had some things initially that felt very scammy. I didn't like the cost, for instance, to be able to get into the pools, the in and out fees. Like there were some things there that didn't feel real solid. But they've been around at this point. They haven't pulled the rug at this point. So maybe there's something there. I think we'd probably be open to having a conversation.
I don't think they misrepresented the EPYs over there either. I think they've been pretty. Forthcoming with what they are to their clients. So interesting.
Yeah. B Roots is joining us from his Crypto Kings channel. What's up, B Roots?
Oh, what's up, bro, man?
Very cool. Well, this has been great today. We appreciate all your guys jumping in and sharing your feedback. There's a lot of really freaking cool things going on. I think Sami nailed it. Buy your positions, stay long, and be wise.
Before we hop off, if Crypto Kings, so this is probably B Roots. Question, Crypto Kings. What's going to perform better in the bull run? Hex or Pulse? Mention in the comment, and I'm talking about PX.
Post in the comments.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that because I think I know where you stand, but just get confirmation.
Absolutely.
If he's still there, he might not be there. Oh, Brizology says Hex. they differ with you, sir. We should have Brizology on, and we should have a nice, friendly debate.
Yeah. In fact,
It
our
will be
open
fun.
mic show we had planned for tomorrow, Big K had to move to tomorrow, so we'll have him on instead, and we'll have to do some more open mic stuff next week.
Yeah. Brizology, I have a question for you. Maybe you weren't on earlier. When the next million people come into our ecosystem, what would they be more likely to buy, Hex or Pulse? That's the number one question you got to ask yourself. When people start opening up the gatekeeping and start listing us on exchanges, what are they going to more likely to list, Hex or Pulse? It's always Pulse. Tetra. Red Squirrel says Tetra. Let's go. I would gladly accept if they listed Tetra. I hold some bags there.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe we'll have Brizology on and we'll talk about it. I feel like Hex is a risk-off asset like Bitcoin. If you look at the Bitcoin ETH chart and the way it performs, I think Hex and Pulse is going to end up performing the exact same way.
I can see that. I can see that making a lot of sense. Sean, I'll share my screen really quick. If I'm sharing something that you already know, I apologize, but you know what I like to do is if I'm looking for a pair of contract address, Deck Screener is a really easy place to find it. You can just scroll down here on the right hand side. Here's the address for the pair. Maybe this is a little bit small. Let me zoom in so you can see. Here's the address for the pair on the right, and then here's the actual contract addresses for the tokens in the pair. So, for instance, this in this instance, Tetra and Pulse. So that's where you can go find those addresses if you weren't aware of that already.
Dane, can you zoom on the chart on the daily? I haven't looked at it in a while. Just, where are we sitting? Are we sitting 6.2? Yeah.
Yeah, 6.265. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Red Squirrel said we had some big dumpers too. I guess that's those candles right there. Over a 2x, somewhere around a 2x.
Okay.
Is from when I bought on Ethereum. Yeah, it wouldn't. Look at that. Look where it bottomed at down there. Where's that bottoming? Like around 4? Is it like a 4?
Oh wow.
I would have. That'd have been a great place to scoop up, and it was down there for a little while. It looks like people kind of just forgot about it for a minute, and then I'm sure then Stu came out, and started tweeting or posting, and it started climbing again.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of mine right back in here. I didn't buy the bottom, but I bought a pretty good level. I feel good about it.
Yeah. What's Brizology saying? Out of the two, Hex and Pulse, probably Pulse. But I think they will come to the Pulse chain to find a new coin. Sometimes else told them to check. Yeah, sure, I can agree with that. But just like how people go to Ethereum to find projects, not necessarily to buy more. Sure, in my opinion. Yeah, but then they're going to be there, and then the retail, they understand a layer one, understand a concept like Ethereum. Oh, I buy this, it's the gas token, and it also number goes up. And so your simple-minded crypto person gets that, where your simple-minded retail doesn't get Hex. I love Hex, I get Hex, we all get Hex. I'm not mocking it, I love these shares. But your simple-minded retail person doesn't get that aspect of it, and that's why they've gate-kept it. In fact, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I think Pulse Chain will be the Trojan horse for Hex. Hex will do so freaking amazing because of Pulse Chain. That's my opinion. I think that Pulse Chain opens up the gates for Hex, and it does allow the smarter crypto people to come in and participate and buy. Some people will come in, they'll buy Pulse, and then they're going to like, okay, I bought Pulse. Let me check out this Hex thing that everybody's been talking so much shit about for the last 3 or 4 years, right? And then they check it out and they like it and they end up buying that too. And that's kind of like the opening up of the gates, the letting down the gatekeeping. I see, man, Pulse getting adopted a lot easier from the retail class versus Hex. That's my, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm a dude on the internet. For all I can carry, you can sell all your Pulse and all your Hex and go buy Dogecoin. I don't care. But that's just my thoughts. And I've got bags of all of them, and I'm pretty heavily weighted. Like, if RH, yeah, he could take his baby, his firstborn, and really do some tricks with it. He has the levers, if you will, to do that. To me, that So to me, that's the only way that Hex would outperform Pulse. So it's not. I wouldn't want to make. I want to place my bets just on that. So, and that is why I do have a pretty good sized bag of Pulse. I mean, Hex. I have a good sized bag of Hex, and I'm not going to sell it or anything. I'm going to keep it. I keep them in rolling stakes is what I do. And so, yeah, I agree with that. That is the one caveat to all this is if he came in and started pulling some levers around and started doing some stuff, him or Godwell or anybody else who knows RH could come in and do some things that really make some splashes and pump that Hex, man. And then it would be a lot of fun.
Maybe the BankX guys will buy it up. Those freaking guys.
Dane, they're gonna all block us now, bro.
Maybe that's a contrarian play. Instead of them dumping everything, maybe they're the new Godwell. They come buy it all up.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I would place a bet on that, by the way.
No. I'll buy the ink token before I start placing bets like that.
Yeah.
Grizzology likes the ink token too. Like Grizzology plays the Contrarian. He loves the ink token. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, cool guys. Appreciate you jumping in. I got to go catch some lunch before we go and round out the rest of the day. But catch us tomorrow with Big K. Is there anything else? Anything else we?
That's it. Big K tomorrow. We're taking the rest of the week off. Dane's out on another real estate event. And after that, next week we'll be back around, and we're back around course till the end of the month. And then if you guys are in Dallas, hit us up. We're going to be speaking at an event that will have anywhere from 1,000 to 1,000 people. I don't know if we can get you in there for free or not, but I think general admissions probably, I don't know, $50, $100, who knows? Yeah, if you're in the Dallas area, hit us up. We'll be there at the end of the month. It's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking about, what we love the most, and which is the RH ecosystem. He says, I buy ink because I like the logo and color. I do too, bro. Like the green and like the black in the middle, the X black, it is sharp, man. It is a sharp logo to me. Yeah, I concur.
Agreed. All right, cool guys. We'll catch you later.
Peace.